Yes.
and this is going to be our eighth and final episode of Vladimir the Terrible. We're going to continue on with the same format, and we have Vladimir on two 3-6 six-handed pot limit Omaha tables, and we're going to walk you guys through as he plays.
Yeah, I'm on waiting list of a bunch of deep tables. So if you get to sit as a deep tables you're gonna replace, seems it's way more interesting given it's less like pushing in deep games, a little bit more
Definitely.
complicated. So here on the left, Boris, I think I had him marked as a weaker player, but I feel like he seems to be a grinder overall. Just used to be short stacking. Here, who's this guy? Yeah, he might be fishy. Okay, so this GGB man is for sure a regular. Also, this Petunius guy, I think I played against him. Hobo King, also regular. Hobo also usually plays higher, so pretty weird.
Yeah, what is he doing short stacking 3-6?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know he short stacks even 2550, but he is also playing 5100 heads up Omaha. So a little bit weird why he would play 3-6. Maybe on a downswing.
Possible.
Yeah. Here he is making a 10 value bet on a turn, $6. I mean, it's not even so bad, looks like, because people just gonna muck if they don't have anything. Now when he calls, this Vasila, he seems Russian. Let's see. Maybe means he doesn't have anything, or he's got a draw now. All the draws hit. So Hobo King, where's he from? New Hope. Vasa has a flash. Vasila, yeah, he's Russian. Oh, oh, I played the other day with what's his name? Brozev again. Oh, he
Broseph
was
again.
so. People were complaining at him. Other people at the table, they were like, "You take 2 minutes every decision." Table was going so slow. All right, I don't know. I just
Frustrating.
easy fold. Oh yeah, something we figured out was what was I gonna say? We were like ranking starting hands in Omaha, and what we figured out, if you use Pro Poker tools, it seems like any aces are at least top 5% of starting hands, which is weird. Like, ace, ace, 8-4 rainbow. Um, so it is pretty interesting that would you rate ace? I mean, maybe it means that aces just make more money if you go all in pre-flop. Any aces, basically. But playability wise, ace, ace, 4, 8, rainbow are not as great as like king, queen, jack 10 double suited, right?
Right. I would much rather have the second hand. It probably wins a little bit more money, but playability wise, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not close. Ace
Unless you
Rainbow
put the
Aces are
money
going
in
to be
pre-flop, like yeah, if you go all in with any aces, of course you make more money.
right.
Okay. And also seems, what about hands like ace, jack 10, 4, single suited to the ace? That hand seems to be also like top 11% of starting hands, but the 4 seems to be like a dangler. I mean, it can makes the wheel. Also, the 4 is better than a 6. So if you have ace, jack 10, 6, it's actually like a top 45%, while ace, jack 10, 4 is already top 11 or something. So I was surprised, like three high cards, but a low
Yeah, that
card.
seems really really surprising that they would rank that as a top 11% hand. I don't think that can be possible because any aces or kings are going to be favored over that. That's 5%. Pretty much
Yeah,
any queens will be favored over that. That's 7.5%. And then there's just a lot of ace kings that are going to be favored over that too. So there's just no way that hand can be top 11%.
yeah.
It's probably way
Also,
closer to like 25% or so.
yeah.
And the four and the six don't make that much of a difference. I would say that probably makes like 2% difference
Let's
or something
see.
like that, maybe even less.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was definitely interesting. So on the right, we just raised a button.
Yep.
On the left, so you're slamping it. We check. On the right, we just bet folding. Let me see. Like 25 is enough. He's just not gonna bluff. On the right, I'm just gonna lead as a bluff. I mean, they fold if they don't have anything. So on the right, he check calls. Now the 10 like sort of completes if he had like king queen or he has jack 10 9 8. He's not folding, so I'm just gonna give up. Maybe he's got low flush.
Yeah.
I'll just give up. Yeah. So this hand on the right seems like on a button we're gonna play it for sure. What about the cutoff? I mean,
I wouldn't play this from the cutoff. I think this is just too loose.
just
I wouldn't even open that. I would just fold that from the
yeah.
cutoff. Folds
Button you
around to you.
played, so anyway.
Yeah,
If you
button any double suited hand you have to
yeah,
play
if you get three
first thing.
bet, if you get three bet from the blinds, do you defend? I mean, probably a fold actually against a three bet, even though it's double suited, it's not connected at all.
Yeah, I'd probably defend. Just unpaired hand that's double
Oh,
suited, I
okay,
think might be too good to fold, getting 2-1.
yeah. So on the left, I mean, I think we either limp behind or pot. So if you pot, Boris is folding. Yeah, I think I just pot. They also are a little bit short. So if I flop like a pair with three, two pair outs, I can pot call.
Right.
And if we pot, we definitely ISO the two blinds. They're both gonna come along, I guess, but hand is playable. And here we go, just pot call. Also, I feel like on this flop, just betting 60 doesn't make any sense because you're gonna peel too light, so you're giving too much of a good price. It's just potting.
Yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah. Also, if you get it in here, we are not like even favorite, I guess. Probably not against like
We can be
eight.
favored against some stuff here for sure.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10 though is. I think 8, 9, 10 is like flipping. 8, 9, 10. Something else is flipping. Like ace 8, 9, 10 is definitely probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
those hands are pretty much close to flipping.
yeah. We take it down. So if you're in a blinds, what type of hands do you defend? I mean, not what type of hands, but let's say how many percent of the top of your range do you defend from the blind? Assuming you're like you three bet top 10%, do you defend like 10 to through 40% of your range, top of your range from the blinds?
It depends on if it's an ante game or not. You're gonna obviously defend more in an ante
Yeah.
game. Depends on the open size too, but let's say someone 3x it from the button. Say 15, 10 to 15% or something like that. It's
Okay.
probably about what I'd be defending depending on the player.
So you three bet top 10 and defend up to top 25,
Against the button open, you're probably going to be 3-betting more than 10%, just
15
because
maybe like.
against an aggressive button, yeah, 15 sounds more right. Just because someone's opening 80%, you have to
Oh
three
yeah,
bet
definitely.
10%
Yeah.
against them.
So you three bet more the more he's opening. So here I folded. I mean, three high cards, but like we are MP. I mean, probably
Yeah,
I guess I fold even on a cutoff against somewhat good button. So cutoff you still fold or do you think cutoff
yeah,
is?
I like folding that from the cutoff. If you only had two clubs in your hand instead of
Oh
four,
yeah, yeah,
probably playable.
yeah. Actually
But it's
forgot
really
it.
hard to make a flush with that hand.
Yeah. So yeah, if you flop a flush draw, I mean we just have seven outs, which is just not as great anymore. The main event is over, I was told today. It's even in German newspapers. Young kids are winning it all, they say. Yeah, which is, I mean, which is bad for poker overall because people are realizing it's a game of skill. They're not just sitting and hoping and getting lucky.
Yeah, I think there are enough people that still just enjoy gambling and
Yeah,
playing that
yeah,
it's not
pro.
something to be concerned about.
Yeah. Especially when I played live in London, just so many older people who mainly don't even play to make money. They just play to like have a talk with people and watch sports betting, watch football. So here, we raised cutoff. I mean standard king high flush draw queens
Yep.
and bet the flop just to take it down. Now he peeled. I think he folds if I pot. He might still call. I think he folds if I pot, so I'm gonna bet like smaller, 69, 96, even though I'm giving him like pot odds with like 6-7, 5-6-7, I guess. But I mean,
Against a good player, you have to just pot here
yeah,
because
yeah,
you
yeah.
really
But
never
but
bet
he's
folding. But
fishing. He's
yeah,
fishing, so I guess
against the fish, this is fine.
yeah. And now the ace hits, huh? Would be interesting if you open jams. You might like call it. I mean, you can have ace 5-4 or something. So also, if he has an ace, he has two, and he has two pair. He beats me, and I guess I mean he might call. It's just an ace high flush draw, which turned to pair now. Ha ha. Guess I'm check. Nah. I mean, he just jams to pair himself, so I'm gonna jam.
I would check there. I don't think he's gonna call you with one pair
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I mean, he's got like ace 6-7. He's got so little money behind, so he figures like it's such a good
Deuce,
price.
deuce five, nice.
It's
Surprised he
just,
didn't.
yeah,
He
I
just
mean,
calls the turn.
yeah. So I mean, I couldn't figure out he had this hand, of course. Like, um, I just saw that on a river, if say he had a, like 250, I would definitely check. But given he had 120 and you jam and he figures he's getting such a good price, he will just snap with any pair because he's like, I'm gonna quit for the day or play with a bigger stack or deposit again.
Generally, I would agree with you, but he's also on your second table. He's a
Oh,
multi-tabling
really?
fish.
Ooh, I didn't see that. Shit, no. Yeah, then I would have changed my opinion a little bit. Yeah, Ennis. He's
But
German.
basically, in that spot, I expect him to fold all of his one
Yeah,
pairs, and I
agreed.
expect him to call you
Agreed.
with pretty much any two pair. And most people, when you bet half their stack on the turn, are just gonna shove two pair instead
Yeah.
of call.
Yeah, he should have jammed to the turn. Um, let's see. Yeah, we just gonna
Well, he
stay.
probably should have folded the turn, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like, I mean, should have jammed if you wanted to call the river. So so you should have just protected if you was like, my hand is good. Why is he
yeah,
caught the turn? He doesn't even have a draw. Oh, he had a gut shot. No,
nope.
oh, he just had bullshit. So that's DJ Sensei. He keeps saying that if when he coached me Omaha, that's his favorite word. Yeah. See, it's in value. I mean, look at this, $120 on one hand. Huge win rate if you make it. Actually, I noticed it a lot that I like on the river. I just snap check instead of thinking for a while. And if you like can, I mean, or we should have bet like $14 and folded when he jammed because then he. I mean, so now we got kings here. I mean, not great kings. Look at this. One time, it's always on Poker Stars. I run good for like 5 days, and then half a year I just hit nothing. So you're gonna bet. It would be interesting if you get raised. I mean, Boris left, Fish, and GB Man. He's supposed to be good, I guess. So just gonna bet 55. I mean, if I bet 45, 55 doesn't make any difference. Say peel or fold anyway with 6-7 or like pocket queens, I guess. I have a queen, so
Right.
okay. And I just want to protect against 6-7-8. If I get raised, I don't really know, but I think I just three bet get it in, given we got like king five. I don't want to lose value against weaker five. I'm not so sure about king five. If I had ace five, I'd definitely do it. Um,
Right. It's a little bit closer with the king five. One reason why I probably still just re-raise and get it in is because you have a pair in your hands, so the chances of you improving to a boat aren't that big.
yeah,
So on like a 3 or a 6 or a 7 on the turn, you're
yeah,
just not happy, and it's easy for someone to have check raise bluffed you on the flop with like a gut shot or something like that,
yeah,
and they get there.
yeah.
Um, Four-handed, you're not too happy about it, but you're probably gonna have to get it in with King Five here.
Yeah,
If this was a heads-up pot and you had something like King Queen Jack Five, it might
just
be a
call.
good spot to try to call and just trap someone
Yeah,
betting again or bluffing again.
agreed. So here on the right, I opened, I guess, standard, but I mean, under the gun, we're calling three bet now. You open this under the gun, or you muck it. I think you open,
I would
right?
open it. I
Okay.
think it's fine.
If the tray is a deuce, you muck, right?
Yeah, if the
Okay.
trades do set muck.
On the left, I opened. I mean, this has a five. Oh no, no, no! It doesn't have a pair. This is even better. So we flop pair with a wrap, and I mean, we don't have a flush draw, but like we are against. I think even against a flush draw, unless he's got top boot, we are not doing too bad. This is what I remember when I once got it in against a pretty strong hand. I think I had a set once, and the guy just had a wrap, and I just had like 57%.
Yeah, pretty standard play on the flop.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, what's the worst case with our hand? I mean, if he's got top set with a flush draw, we are in bad shape. Even then, we have like, I mean, like 30%, 25.
25%, something like that. Yeah, you're usually not going to be in bad shape. I mean, the worst case would be him having like like five, six, seven, eight with hearts,
Oh yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
that
But
would be
that's
all
not going to
right.
happen too often.
Yeah, so pretty. So
Against aces with the nut flush draw, I think you have something around 38 to
yeah,
40%.
so this is which is actually pretty brutal. Like he flopped the nuts, and
Right.
he's not even a huge favorite. Okay, so yeah, it's also interesting that the nut flush is just so strong. Like, I remember so many times I flopped, the flop came like king 5-4, and I had top set with 6-7, so like top set open ender and a flush draw, and the guy had just nut flush draw, and he had like 30%. I'm like, what the hell? Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's interesting. Just like having the nut flush draw, you can just get it in on, especially in three bet pot. I mean, the pot is so big already.
definitely.
Also, people get it in with worse flush draws. So here on the right, I mean, just fold, I guess. Yeah, yeah, just unplayable. What would you say is the highest three bet percentage in Omaha in six max?
The highest that
No,
I've
no, no.
encountered.
Like this Boris guy's three betting 22%, but I think he's short betting most of the time. So Hobo is three betting 5.6, which I think is pretty tight. Not
Yeah,
tight, but I think it's tight enough. GB Man only 5%, also low. So here Petunius 8.6. So is 8.6. Can you compare it to no limit? 8.6 would be still on a tighter side. I mean,
I'd
tight.
say people.
Yeah,
I'd say you're the same player in PLO no limit would three bet a little bit more in PLO. Maybe
yeah,
something like 11 or 12% is probably good in PLO, and like 9% is pretty good in
yeah.
no limit.
Okay. So if somebody is rebetting 15%, it's of course just
A
over.
little too aggressive,
Yeah,
but it's still not necessarily bad. Over
yeah,
20 is definitely bad.
yeah.
Over 18, I'd say, is probably you're playing
Unless
too
somebody
aggressive.
folds, I mean, if somebody folds, you can three bet whatever, but like nobody folds anymore.
Right.
So let's see if we get like some other deep table. Seems like even though Brozov is not at the tables, it's still so slow. Just in case. I actually the guy joined on top right, so also fascinating how you have so many random people on PokerStars every day. People coming and playing. Caprioli. Oh, okay, we got a deep table.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna replace. Which one you wanna replace? The left, probably Hobo is.
Whichever's going slower, probably just replace.
Yeah,
They both seem kind of equal.
they're both slow. Actually, I'm just gonna keep it off screen and move it in a bit. Yeah, the left one is so slow. Oh, okay. So in case we get action on the third table, I'm gonna bring it in. Oh, this I'm all in guy is slow as hell. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It's a supernova thing.
Yeah, I guess if you play that many hands, you're probably playing many, many tables.
Yeah, yeah. This guy, Verno. Oh, he's German. I remember him. I think he played No Limit with me. So interesting. He's from Bielefeld. He's Arminia Bielefeld fan. It's a football team. I hate this team. They're always winning against my team, even though my is way, way better. He had a big hand. Let's see. Oh, look at this pre-flop hand. That's so sweet. Let's see what happened. He raised. Oh, he checked behind. What do you think about his check here? He had, let's see, so he checked, and then they checked it down actually. He had a wrap and a pair on a flop, and checked the flop, was going maybe for a check raise on a flop.
Let's see. What happens pre-flop here?
He was the pre-flop open.
Raise.
Actually, let's see, we have a hand. I mean, this is a fold. I used to play this hand, but in position, I would defend, but I'm not even sure about in position. I think it's fold in position maybe.
Yeah, the pair of sixes just makes it
So if
not as
it's a
good.
six, is a five, or even a four, it's way better.
Definitely.
Here on a actually, I got a
8-8-7-6 is much better too.
yeah. So here we got a table off screen. We erase pre-flops. Here Boris limps, Vasila limps, and we just raise premium hand. Gonna bet small on a flop. I mean, if I get raised, it's gonna be so ugly, and no need to bet bigger. Okay, so yeah, so basically, year raised pre-flop was Queen Jack 9-10 double suited and got called and checked the flop behind to the button who checked and then he checked the turn. I guess betting the turn doesn't make any sense, but why is he not betting the flop?
Yeah, I would generally bet the flop just because you can take it down. But honestly, when someone checks that flop, they're going to be check calling a good amount. And when they do check call, they usually have more equity than you. They're usually going to have a bigger pair or a flush draw there.
Yeah,
So I don't really hate checking back there. I think it's fine.
okay. If he checked in a button bet, should you go for a check raise? His stack sizes are a bit bad. I mean, more than 100 BB, probably like one almost 200. Should you just check call the flop if he checked it?
Oh, it's a three-handed
Yeah,
pot.
yeah, yeah, it is.
Oh, I would definitely bet in this spot then.
Yeah, I mean, like two-handed, you can go for check call, and let somebody bluff because you know what outs are good for you, right?
Even then, with initiative, I would just bet. But in
Yeah.
position, you can check behind.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
just
yeah,
a
yeah. In
situation where I
position, you
think
can.
checking is good.
Yeah, because
But
you like know you pretty much know which hand, which turn cards are good for you. Also, they lead into you so much when you hit your straight and stuff.
right, I mean, free-handed, there's just so much value in taking the pot down on the flop. If someone
Yeah,
has a non-nut flush draw or something like that with that much to go to it, with that much to go with it, they probably just fold it. And something like ace, king, 7-8 is probably just going to fold also.
yeah,
So you're definitely best off just betting. And if you get raised, you probably have to call and at least see one more card.
yeah. Also, he's got decent stacks to bet call. Okay, so on the left you got Hobo as well. Same player basically. Teddy Wong. He's So on the right, this hand, I mean, I'm not even sure about opening button with this hand anymore. We got two nines with a jack. The four is total horrible. So like maybe I just should be even folding this on a button. Yeah, actually, I think I even.
I would open it on the button if it folds to you, just because Inez 60 is in the small blind,
Oh yeah,
and
the fish. Yeah,
yeah, it seems like a huge fish.
and he is not three betting too much. So if people are three betting a lot from the blinds, you just mark it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh come on, people disconnect. It's taking so long. Unbelievable. This I'm all in guy is pretty aggressive. He's the type of guy three betting 14% and pre-flop pretty active. If you get some action against him. How much would you say is Omaha game of math compared to No Limit?
I'd say there's a little bit more math involved, but not too much. I mean, a lot of the equity situations that you get into, you sort of just have to have a feel for, okay, if he has a bigger flush draw, how much equity do I have here when I have this pair and this straight draw or
Yeah,
whatever. It's sort of just running a bunch of simulations and getting a feel for how much equity you have in particular situations.
yeah.
Obviously, you have to be able to calculate basic pot odds and stuff like that, but it's not that much more math intensive than No Limit, really.
Okay. Here it's pretty interesting. This is what people do a lot. I mean, he's leading and he doesn't have shit, right? We have two nines. So I mean, we could call and rep something. Nah, rep something weak and raise a turn, but I think I'm just gonna raise it to flop smallish and hope he like peels or rebluffs. I don't know. What do you think about just calling and pot raising the turn on a blank? There is also no flush draw. I feel like if the jack comes, it's gonna be really bad. The king is bad. The ace is bad. So there are like not pretty much too many cards. I mean, not too many, but probably too many for Omaha bad turn cards just to call the flop. In No Limit, I would just usually peel this jack nine here.
I would just call here. I think there's a lot of value in letting him bluff.
Yeah, look at this. He's bluffing. So, or he's got the same hand and like King Jack 9, which would be sick. So, I mean, I never stack his bluffs if I just push. I think I'm just gonna call. He might have, though, a similar hand with a redraw. Oh, I mean, yeah, just call now. Figuring. Oh, look at this. How often is it happening in Omaha? It's a little bit better than a king and an ace, I guess, a 10. He could have led like a set with a straight, even though I don't think he does it too much. And he doesn't have a boat because if he led a set, he would have just bet called and not bet three bet and get it in with a straight. So no need for that. Now he checks. So like, I think we just have to bet small and hope he spazzes or something. He could have queen 10 jack 9, but he's 3 bet at pre-flop. So king queen jack 10, he also 3 bets pre-flop. And assuming we raised the flop as a bluff and you 3 bet and we peeled, given we got such decent pot odds on a peel, we could still be light. So we bet super small and hope he jams. What do you think about my plan?
I think your plan is pretty good. I like your play on the flop. There's some chance he could be bluffing, and he might bluff one more street if he puts you on a draw or something like that. Um, and I like calling also because when the board pairs, if he has the same hand, you can bluff him off it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
That's
also a
pretty
good
much the
idea.
biggest value in
Yeah.
letting the board pair.
Yeah, and I know he is a thinking player. So I don't know though in Omaha how often you would peel this type of flop with this action, like with ace jack jack or something. Like in No Limit you can do it because in No Limit people just have air so much. In Omaha it seems like people have so much more often than just a hand to go with. gonna take a note. So far so good. Session running decently. Interesting to see though that Omaha is getting tighter than it used to be. People are not as few anymore lately.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the players who have switched over from No Limit are sort of in the mentality where they either open raise or fold. There isn't
Yeah,
as much just crazy limping, which
yeah,
used to occur all over the place.
yeah. Also seems like no limit players are definitely the better Omaha players because they don't have this fishy mentality a lot of Omaha players have.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like a no limit player, you just sort of know if you get it in with 10% equity on a bluff, you feel so stupid. And in Omaha, you're like, oh, I got it in, I still have like 35%, whatever. So
Right.
yeah, and you can suck out, and then you're like, well, see, I won the pots or whatever. You're not as and analyzing the hands as much if you run good, especially. You sort of feel like you play correctly because you made money, even though you
Definitely.
probably got it in bad all the time. So here we got a hand on the top right. We're gonna play. Um, if somebody opens, I assume we flat call. If it's double suited, we're gonna three bet it.
Yep, that sounds pretty good. This
Yeah,
hand is actually kind of borderline just because the gap is at the top. It's something that we haven't talked about that
yeah.
much throughout this series and something that people should be cognizant about a little bit. If this hand was 9-8-7-5, it would be much better than its 9-7-6-5
Ah,
because
okay.
a lot of the straight draws that you're going to flop, especially ones where an 8 flops, are going to be non-nut straights, at
Oh
least some of
yeah,
them.
this is
And
gonna
that's
be
definitely going to
huge.
be relevant.
Right. So something like deuce 4-5-6 is better than 6-4 trade deuce. Way better.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. So this is like a small difference, which can be huge on like if you play 1 million hands or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's going to be huge. I mean, if you play something like 20,000 hands too, just
Yeah,
because
bro.
you're gonna flop a straight draw
Yeah, so
a
often, and
decent
money
percentage of the
goes
time.
in so often in Omaha. Yeah, and this is something people probably won't notice. Like in No Limit, you sort of know it more. Like Jack 9 is just way better than Jack 8. But in Omaha, you see four cards and you're like, well, I mean, looks the same, right?
Right.
How strong would you rate something like 9-9-10-10 double suited?
I think it's a pretty good hand. I'd put
Um,
that in the top 30% or so for sure.
yeah, I think it's like top seven or something, really, top seven or
Top
top five.
7%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't put it that high.
It is.
Maybe playability wise, it's pretty good. Top 30% is maybe what it goes hot and cold, but again, you're a dog to pretty much any hand that has any aces, kings, queens, or jacks.
Yeah, it's it's top 4%. I just checked.
How does
Yeah.
Pro Poker Tools do it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't
You
know
just
how
type in
to.
the hand and it tells you.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's just a lie because that hand is not
See,
your aces and
yeah.
king. That makes up 5% right
Yeah,
there.
it is. It is probably like, isn't that a pretty good hand to three bet? Because if you flop like 8-7, you can just bluff, given you have blockers to nut straight. Also, you can get it if you get it in on 8-7. You have like open ender plus four outs for a set. Plus, you have probably two backdoor flush draws. It's weird. It's weird. It actually probably just calculates something like you can flop a set. You can flop
Right.
two sets. So like, yeah. I guess in Omaha you have so many hands which are top 4% because you have just way more combination of hands overall compared to No Limit. Like if you had what's it called, poker stove for Omaha, you would just be would be insane how many hands you can select. So here on the right, I mean this guy's loose 4-5-6-8. We talked about it just now. So this hand is not as great as 8-7-6-5 4. So we're
Right.
just calling.
Right. We're still playing the hand. You can
Yeah,
three
yeah,
bet the
yeah,
hand
definitely.
too. Um,
Really? If even it's single suited, you like three betting?
I mean, cut off first button, it's fine.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we can call it forward even. It doesn't really matter. So now we get three bet this guy. Let's see. Oh, I don't have. Well, he's squeezing. Oh, there. I'm folding this, but if I had something like Queen 10, 9, 8 double suited, I get it in because he's got aces guaranteed, and Petunias just has, I don't know what he has. But if you have like Queen 10, 9, 8 double suited, I mean something like with higher suits, we crush his 6, 7, 8, 9 double suited. But here we are just crushed by any rundowns.
Right.
I mean, he has to have ace. Wow, he folded Petunias, huh? Yeah, he's squeezing 14%, which is pretty high. So, Vasila limps, guy checks, we got a pair, backdoor flush draw. I'm gonna lead. Hope to take it down. Yep. So, back to like double paired hands. Like 9 10 10 10 9 9 is pretty nice. What about something like 4 4 5 5? Do you rate it as pretty weak given you flop bottom set usually? You flop bottom straight draw. You flop shitty flush draws.
10 10 9 9 is definitely a decent amount better. Um, if you're going to be re-raising it, I guess the value that it has over 4 4 5 5 decreases a bit because if you flop a set, it's pretty much equivalent whether it's a set of tens or a set of fives in a re-raise pot because you're
Yeah.
not going to get set over set that much. And also, I guess the value in being able to bluff with the blockers decreases a little bit in a 3-bet pot. But I'd say 10 10 9 9 is definitely a reasonable amount better.
So 4 4 5 5 you're still playing or you're just folding that hand?
Rainbow, I might just fold it. With one suit, I'll usually 3-bet it.
Okay, from any position. You just three-bet it because you can wrap the aces. Or I mean big cards you can wrap. If you flop a set, your hand is
Right,
disguised. Yeah.
definitely.
Also 10 10 9 9 seems so even like not too great if you flop a set because if it's gonna be a 10 or a 9, it's usually gonna be like 10 8 or like 10 jack flop, so you're up against a rundown against a wrap, and then your set is not even, it's just like 60% favorite. But if you flop a 5, I mean, they don't have as many run. I mean, they still might have 6 7 8 or something, so probably close. Oh, this Ennis guy is pretty good here. Limp lump. This is interesting. I mean, this guy is super aggro. He just mug. If he had the king high suit, though, I would be interested if you call here this hand on the right. If you have the
No,
king high
I
suit.
would still just muck. There's no reason to put that much money in the pot when you're gonna get into a four-handed pot. And another relevant point here is that the razor is right before you, so he's gonna usually bet
Ah,
on the
yeah.
flop and then
Relative
just to
position.
act with two
Yeah.
people still to act, and that's just a
Yeah.
really bad situation.
Yeah. If you had relative position on him, yeah, it's slightly better though. If it's double suited, you definitely call, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, suited is actually pretty huge. I wasn't sure about it, but Propagatiles tells that having a suit is just like huge advantage. I mean, like jumps like 20 ranks higher if it's single suited or double suited. Oh, we get action here on the right. So this guy Ennis, I mean, he is so passive. I'm limping on the left. I mean, like if you flop a set, it's gonna be good. So I don't want to ISO with his hand. Seems to be too weak. If it's Queen Jack 10 7, I would pot raise it, but like Queen Jack Jack 7 is too weak. Oh,
Let's go.
on the right, Petunius can't fold. I mean, he's getting like, yeah,
Gotta get
he's
it
got to
in.
draw. Yeah,
Ooh, he's
he's
got a
got.
brutal hand.
Oh, look at this.
Oh. Oh yes.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had worse to
uh,
pair but sucked out. So it's interesting. Let's see. Let's see.
it's so little equity there.
Yeah. Um, yeah, actually, it's a preflop raise. Oh, preflop raise. I had the huge nuts preflop. It had went too quickly. So no, come on, stars. Here on the left, I'm just betting. Like, I mean, there's 80 in to take it down. Somebody, I don't know. It's a good spot for GGB man to raise, but probably people don't do it often enough. So we just bet fold. So he check raised the flop here, and then N is called and Petunia's called. We can actually, you can actually decide. So
Let's see it. Pull up the hand history again.
yeah, hold on. I'm gonna,
This is an interesting hand to talk about.
yeah, hold on a second. We gotta fold this. All right. So the action was that Caprioli raised, we folded, and everybody called. And he went for a check raise on the
Right.
flop. I mean, he had a huge, huge hand. Not too huge, I guess. I mean, he's got king high flush draw. Would you say it's a big difference having king high flush draw or ace high flush draw in a spot like this? I guess not because it's three bet pot.
Not really, because your hand is so huge here. You have top pair, gut shot,
Yeah.
three
Oh yeah, you got your
overcards.
backdoor straight draws and stuff as well.
Right.
Yeah. So he check raised the flop, and Anna's hand had a wrap, huge, huge wrap, but no flush draw. Called, and then Petunius called with a flush draw and two pair. I think. Oh no, he didn't have a. He just had. Oh, Petunius. Why is he calling the flop?
Yeah, that's a bad play right there. He should
Yeah,
probably just fold. Especially
yeah.
three-handed, top and bottom pair there with
It's just
two
horrible.
really poor side cards is not gonna have enough equity
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And on a turn, I mean, he can't fold the turn anymore, given he picked up a flush draw. Um,
Right.
so we can check the equity. I would say Petunius was behind on the flop, even though he had two pair. So flop, Caprioli 50, Petunius 24. Oh, he's slightly ahead against Ennis with his backdoor flush draw, I guess, which matters a little bit. Ah, interesting. Okay, we raise pre-flop, just c-betting this. I mean, backdoor weak flush draw, but backdoor straight draw.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, betting the full turn as well.
Yep, I'd keep betting.
I'm just gonna bet like big. I mean, if I bet big, he's more inclined to just check jam if he's got a big hand, check pot. So if he's not check potting, we like can bluff the blank rivers.
Right.
On this hand, which type of two pairs at your river do you value bet? I mean, probably no. A four, yeah, that's it. If you make trips, you value bet. Ace, you check behind. Queen, we check. Nine, we check.
Yep. Four is pretty much the only card that
Yeah,
I'd value bet on the river. A lot of blanks are pretty good to bluff in this spot just because
yeah,
he's usually not gonna have two pair here. He's gonna
yeah,
have some sort of flush draw with a pair, some sort of combo type thing.
yeah. Or straight draw, pair plus straight draw.
Maybe let's play out till the blinds.
Yep. Action table on the right, on the left, not too much happening.
Yeah, that was a pretty big pot. Petonius got to win there.
Yeah,
What did it
Petunias.
turn out his equity was on the turn there?
On a turn, he was just. I think it,
10%.
nah, he had more. He had a flush draw.
Oh, he picked
Uh,
up a flush draw on the
yeah, yeah,
turn.
yeah, yeah. He can't
Oh,
fold,
that's
and he
right.
was
Okay, see,
tanking. Like on the flop, he snapped, and on the turn was a flush draw. I mean, he had 27%, so he has to call the turn. Given their pot is just huge, he's got to call.
right.
If his flush draw was that, it would have been interesting. He would have been totally crushed. Um, yeah. Here on a ride, we definitely peel. I mean, he's three betting not too much, but just good enough hand. This boards in general, bluffing is pretty bad, right? I mean, 4, 6. Actually, we can have 4, 6. I mean, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not too unlikely. If the board was like deuce 4, 5 is also fine to bluff. We can have a wrap. So
Right. And when you're the opener from the button who's
We have,
defending,
yeah,
you have a much wider range in this
yeah.
spot.
So I'm just gonna bet 70 here. I mean, maybe bigger. Guess like 80. Hmm. Wonder if he folds to 100 more than he folds to 80. I'm gonna make it 110. It looks more credible, like we actually have a hand. If I bet 70, it looks like too fishy. Also, he's less inclined to like check or I don't think he check raises. Uh, Even if I bet 70 or 100 or 110 or pot, I think he's just folding if he's got like a high rundown.
Right.
Isn't he? Shouldn't he be c betting if he had a rundown, just to take it down multi-way? Just bet fold to flop. So I feel like when he's check calling, he's actually trapping way more um, than he is check calling like aces, which he doesn't here, or maybe aces with a backdoor flush draw.
Right. It could be reasonably possible for him to have something like ace four
Yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah,
trying to
yeah,
induce a bluff. It's a pretty
yeah.
good play to check
Also,
that
he's
hand.
tanking so long. It just, I mean, I'm not gonna bet again. Also, he knows we have so much more. Now we could bluff now though. I mean, like, he's not folding ace four. I mean, he's not folding his trades, that's for sure. So we can have a 6-7. Maybe we can have 6-7, 6-8. 6-8, we might just pot. Nah, I guess we pot call to turn with 6-8-7 or something like that. So we don't have that. Huh. But I mean, on the flop, I just don't see him check calling with just kings, and now he's betting and hoping we call with like a set, or I guess. I wouldn't bluff the river if he checked anyway. I feel like he doesn't have aces or just a pair too often enough. Or
Right.
would
I agree.
okay, yeah,
I think the flop is very. I mean, the turn is very turn and river are pretty standard. I don't think you
yeah,
can bluff there. You're gonna get called very
yeah,
often, especially given on the flop he called with someone still yet to act. That means
yeah.
he's
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
definitely got a strong hand.
yeah. That's for sure. All right, I guess that's it.
Yep, that's going to be it for the eighth and final episode of Vladimir the Terrible. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you guys have any questions about any of the hands that we've discussed or concepts that we've discussed in this series or this episode, post them in the video thread and we'll respond to them. And enjoy. This is going to be my last series of the year. I'm probably going to do a few standalone videos. But until next year, good luck at the tables.
Bye bye, guys.